Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of Banishers, a number that I did not think that we would hit once we started the game. I was expecting this game to be rather on the shorter side, and I am delighted to find that we actually have a good chunk of content left. Hello to both Solid Chrome Hickey, who says it feels like a Thursday. Yeah, I was absolutely thinking about the weekend, and Cara Luna as well. We're going to be jumping in exactly where we left off, which is we've arrived at a new town that's being set up by Governor Fairfax. Governor Haskell. Fairfax Haskell? Haskell Fairfax. Well, we did that, but we're doing this now. So we're going to go talk to the settlers. The point is, at the end of the previous episode, we arrived here in town. They were building up the meeting house that you see there in the picture. And we're basically what we've picked up so far is that there's a disease in town. It takes people very quickly. The well appears to be poisoned, and the governor has asked the Banishers to look into it. The governor is himself a trained demonologist, and I felt when we talked with him in the previous episode, very unstable in terms of like his outlook. He seems much worse off in the sort of like personal emotional regulation department than he was when we first met him at the very start of the game. So let's jump in and participate in some witch finding here. By the way, since we actually know at least a couple witches, I would say that the odds of this being the work of a witch is very unlikely. But let's go outside, and I believe that we have somebody to talk to.
'Tis our honour you're here, sir.
Right here. I believe this is the governor's son.
You're the governor's son, right?
Yes, sir. Lamentation Haskell. Friends call me Lammy. Or they would if I had any. Please, call me Lammy. I have so many questions, sir. So many questions. But I suspect this is not the time.
No, not the time. But perhaps you may help me anyway.
Me? Why, if I can help, I'd be honoured.
Okay, before we continue interrogating Lammy here as we get into the city, hello to Dawn Evil and everybody raiding over. Dawn, Canada, I very much appreciate the raid. Dawn, I hope you had a fantastic time with Death Stranding earlier today. We're actually lurking for a good chunk of it. That game really has a story of some sort, but the actual like traversal in the game actually looks really fun. I'm very much looking forward to trying it out, and I hope you had a wonderful time as well. Thank you guys, everybody. We are just getting into Banishers for episode 21, and we are investigating a bittered, poisonous well, and Lammy Haskell here is going to be our very first point of contact to start learning some information. I hope that you're all having a great Tuesday.
So tell me, Lammy, what do you do?
What?
How do you spend your days?
I assist my father, especially with the ghost wards. That keeps me very busy. When I can, I continue my research into the mysteries of life. Wildlife, mostly. If I can find any. Those that aren't dead have left New Eden. Who can blame them?
Must be hard, being the governor's son and all.
Is it? I don't know. I've never been anyone else's son.
Hard to grow up in his shadow, I would have thought.
Only if you like the attention, not me. I just want to read books and learn stuff. People leave me alone mostly. I like that. Mostly.
Your father spoke of the pestilence.
He did? Then, sir, you know as much as I do.
If you have an opinion of your own, I'd be glad to hear it.
Since you ask it, I believe a thing most vile assails us. An evil of origin unknown and perhaps unknowable.
So the pestilence is part of the curse?
Yes. Of course, the curse. Of course it's the curse. What else could it be?
Boy, do I already not trust this kid. And by kid, I mean like he looks like he's probably in his mid-20s, but...
Those ghost wards are quite unique.
They are, aren't they? Conceived by Etienne Roulet, but made by my father. Do you use them as well in your line of work?
Not really. I mostly talk to ghosts. I don't repel them.
Of course. Still, each tool has its purpose, and these troubled times we need all the tools we can get. Magic is glorious when wielded by the righteous.
You seem to know a lot about it.
Oh, if only, sir, if only. I'm still learning. Many of the subtleties and nuances escape me yet.
Your father believes there is a Harrow's witch. Have you noticed anyone acting strange?
I'd answer, sir, I surely would, only things being as they are, everyone is acting strange. The curse brought illness, illness brought division, division has led to strife. We could do with some healing, sir, we could. We need you to bring us peace.
Good day to you, Lammy.
Good day to you, sir.
Okay. So our main goal right now is to talk to the settlers, and the meeting house was up. I'm pretty sure this is the direct route to the meeting house. Yes, there it is. So there was another route down, but let's head down. Antea has specifically recommended that we don't go around smashing the ghost wards, so she's content to be a passenger alongside Red, but not actually manifesting. She's with us, but can't actually do anything within the radius of these ghost wards. Dawn Evil is confirming that there is a story in Death Stranding. And how? From what little I've seen of it, it seems...
Doors blocked on the other side.
It seems like the sort of story that people will have a very good time sort of like picking apart. I am mostly glad that there is a sequel to Death Stranding in the works.
Our daily bread, our bread, not our ale, our bread. Do you want us to starve? I should have the yeast. You know it, Mistress Sparrow. You know it full well.
If you want yeast, then grow your own. Just stick some in a jar and grow it, and you'll have it forever. Now there is none, and it's my fault.
Food is a staple, and drink is a luxury. Give me the yeast.
How many different ways do you need to hear it? Of yeast, there is no more. There is yeast, no more. Yeast? No, no more. There's no more shitting yeast.
You're lying.
You're pricking now, Mr. Cottle, and I am vexed. Go home. Go back to your work. Go to hell for all I care. Just go away.
Good day to you, sir.
Likewise. Red McCraith. You?
Perry Cottle, I'm the baker. What are you doing out here in the rustics?
I'm a banisher. I'm looking for ghosts.
Find no ghosts here, sir, nor demons. The governor, in his piety, sees to that.
I envy your faith, Mr. Cottle.
How's that working out so far?
Canada's asking how do I like Banishers? Very, very much. It's this sort of like investigation stage to figure out what's going on. It gives a really great context to the fighting, which also feels really good.
A man can do any number of things with his life. What drew you to baking?
Oh, any of a dozen reasons. I'll not bore you with all 13. That's also how old I was when my parents died. I needed work. The baker needed a boy. He was a hard man. His wife was a pure-hearted woman. Taught me well. 'Tis hard work, but I love it. I love it dear.
What brought you to New Eden? Were they short a baker?
Elsewhere, folks backslide. Here, we know the value of our daily bread, of God's own bounty. Here, the baker is near in position to a minister.
What's the word around here?
Ah, it's gossip you want. Oh, so be it. Recently, as I made my way to the mill, I saw Ishmael Lore sneak into Phoebe Walcott's barn, his arms laden. I don't know what he carried, but since then, he has seemed skittish.
So as we go through here, Dawn Evil's asking what the game's about. Give me a few moments to like wrap this up, and as we're finding our next sort of interviewer, I will give you the best rundown that I can. But it's very sort of like mystery and story focused, but with a lot of combat and exploration to it as well.
How's life in the Harrows? Does it taste sweet now? Or does it taste bitter yet?
Life in the Harrows, sir, tastes like hard work. And so it bloody should.
What can you tell me about the governor?
Pious man of great eloquence. He likes a sour loaf, fresh from the oven, so warm the butter melts right through. I trust him completely. He's devoted, he serves his congregation, diligent and mindful, just like me.
What can you tell me about Lamentation Haskell?
Seems a good boy. Peculiar. Not the brightest. He's not like his father. Oh, no, not at all.
Have you noticed anything strange lately? Changes in demeanour, odd comings and goings?
Lucy Barrow goes picking plants. All furtive like. I've seen her. I've watched her. She puts them in her strange concoctions. Won't tell me what's in there. Maybe she'd spill it to you.
And where might I find this Lucy Barrow?
The alewife, when she's not furtively picking herbage, may be found in the ale house.
Okay, so on our way over, without knowing for sure, it feels a lot to me like Lucy is the woman that he was just arguing with because he was saying that, like, drink is a luxury, food is a staple. That makes me think that she's the alewife, and if he's going to start pointing fingers at her, I'm not going to be able to put a lot of stock into that based on the fact that he already has a pre-existing beef with her.
I should go.
God go with you.
So, super quick, just to like give you guys the Cliff Notes version. Red McCraith and Antea are Banishers, and Dawn Evil is exactly right that they are ghost hunters and exorcists both. And what happened is that they got called to an area of New England called New Edentown, and they were called there by their friend. When they arrived, they found that their friend had already passed away, although that did not necessarily reduce the amount that he was able to tell them. And he revealed that there was a terrible curse on the area in the form of a nightmare, which in this case is taking the form of a woman, and they've been working to identify what's the source of this nightmare. They attempted to exorcise her. She was much more powerful, and that sort of led to, basically through plot happening, I don't want to give away too much away, Red found himself way the hell over here, and we've been sort of working our way back east to settle up with the nightmare, but on the way, we've been finding all of the refugees who have now fled New Edentown, and finding out that, yeah, it's just a very supernaturally charged part of the world, and part of that is there's a main quest line, which is what we're doing right now, trying to find out these people that have set up homes and get them cleared out of what's bothering them, which right now is a poisoned well. And also, then after we do the main quest lines, there's all sorts of optional haunting cases, because it turns out that, like, people just drop dead all the time around here, and it's not just like I'm doing the story because I like it, although I do. There's a whole primary plot about how to resolve basically what's going on with Antea. Again, I don't want to give away too much, but you guys have probably picked up on a lot of it. We're episode 21, so just in case anybody wanted to mute, just before I say this, 3, 2, 1... Antea is very dead right now. She's a ghost, and she sort of rides along with Red, but at the very beginning of the game, close to the beginning of the game, there was a question about what are we going to do about this? Are we going to reunite Antea with her body and then help her to ascend and her soul to move on to whatever comes next? Or are we going to try a very dangerous and costly ritual to bring her back to life? And I sort of thought it would be a more interesting story to pursue trying to resurrect Antea, and in order to do that, it requires the life energy, the souls of it. The game is a little bit cagey about this, but the majority of the people in New Eden, it's kind of a big deal, I guess, to bring a human being back to life. So with that in mind, Red has been making a set of increasingly reckless decisions in terms of how he resolves Banisher cases. And even as of the last episode, I've been rethinking that, which we'll talk about as it comes up. But for now, let's continue to interview folks.
It was so inspiring.
As always.
A shame he was so rudely interrupted.
A shame indeed. Maybe we should go home now. Are you ready?
I'm ready when you are.
Good day to you both.
And a good day to you too, sir. And wasn't that quite the entrance you made? You'll be the talk of the town.
So, what brings you to our wee corner of the world?
The governor bade me make the rounds. He suspects evil doing.
If it's evil doing you're after, you may turn around and hurry back to New Eden Town.
I met your partner there, the woman. It seems like a lifetime ago now. May God hold you and protect you in your grief.
Now, you could excuse us. My sister's not feeling well, and we must hurry home.
When I met Elizabeth in New Eden Town, she seemed healthy.
Dear Yves, I didn't catch your names.
God be with you and your terrible pronunciation. Mary Claire O'Hara. This is my sister, Elizabeth.
I'm no healer, but I'll help if I can. Do you have plants as need gathering? Something to ease the pain?
All the meadow sweet and vervain in the world will not help this fever, I fear.
We need no help from the godless. Thank you very much.
Our faith guides and protects us.
From where comes the fever?
A bad cut that's spoiled. 'Tis not your concern.
She's dangerously sick. Either she doesn't know it, or she knows it and is hiding it.
It's pleasant to meet another Gale. Where in Ireland are you from exactly?
We left Clarenbridge for Boston many years ago.
How's life with the English?
We're all the same saints under God, sir. And we too are New Englanders now. After 7 years in service, we've earned our place here.
What do you do around here?
We raise livestock, or at least we used to.
We lost it all to the witch's curse. And the curse still stands, does it not? Banisher.
A witch, eh? Do you mean Deborah? Did you know her?
No.
No, you don't mean Deborah, or no, you didn't know her.
We only heard the rumours. Still, we'll not speak ill of the dead, however wicked or depraved they may have been.
That's some A+, not speaking ill of the dead. Hello to Brian and Inner. I hope you're both having a great Tuesday.
What happened to the farm?
Sickness took Elizabeth's sheep. And I can weave nothing without wool. And now you really must be going. We'll take up no more of your time. I insist.
I'll let you rest, so. Slan live. Goodbye to you.
Would you pray with us, Mr. McCrate?
Elizabeth.
God hath numbered my kingdom. Whatever my sister may believe, I've not long now. Please, pray with us.
So, to me, if it's important to her, why not? Like, this doesn't seem to be in violation of any particular faith that Red has expressed, so why not? It's sort of like, what's the harm?
I surely will, if you wish it.
Pray for healing, Mr. McCraith.
No, pray for peace.
Dude, I don't have any idea what would be more appropriate in this era. Like, I don't claim to understand, and I don't remember what Governor Haskell was saying last time, like what his whole deal was. We'll go with this one.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want.
He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul.
He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me.
May the road rise to you, Elizabeth O'Hara.
Worry not about me. I'll be in heaven long before the devil knows I'm dead.
Elizabeth O'Hara, don't tempt him. God be with you, Red McCrae, and a good day now.
So that's pretty interesting. We did not get to ask most of our questions. I want to see, I bet you we can't talk to them further.
Banisher?
Ladies,
Oh, maybe we super can.
noticed anything strange around here of late?
Strange. A fine word for the devil's work. I call it evil. Look around you. The harrows are dying.
Our flock took sick. Every last animal dead. Ram, lamb, and ewe.
Then the people took their turn. Many of our neighbours are with the Lord. At least, that's where we hope they are.
If there's witchery afoot, I'll need help finding the culprit. Do you have suspicions you'd care to share?
Well, Caleb Watson lately talks to himself. And if you interrupt him, why, he's as rude as a goat. And he was such a well-mannered man, too.
Lord forgive me, but I don't like him. The man has stopped washing. He reeks.
Caleb Watson, was it? Where can I find him?
He's the cobbler. So you'll find him in the cobbler shop.
Thanks for the tip.
If you've any hearsay to share, I'd like to hear you say it.
Fools and sinners chatter. The wise and good hold their tongues.
If only Hugh Batchelor would follow God's word on that.
Why?
His fool's babbling cost him his sister and his faith in no particular order, yet still he gibbers on.
That's quite enough.
Flan, so.
Banach Gialat. Sir.
I regret not knowing the words that they just said to one another. Is that Gaelic? Probably not, but it would be my best guess.
Here. Holy shite.
Okay, let's check out the cobbler.
It's justice. Start anew. Shite on these people. They can't hurt us.
But how could you make him kiss it again?
Oh there. Are you alright, sir?
We're closed. Now. Out with you. Leave. Leave.
I can tell from your surly demeanour that you won't mind me asking you a couple of questions. I'm Red McCrae. I'm a banisher. I'm searching the area for evidence of witchcraft. And you, I can tell, are itching to help me.
Show your shiting shapes, goose peddler. No witches here. Only myself, Caleb Watson.
Tell me a tale. What have you heard round about lately that might be of interest?
Gossip's for shite bags. Not being a shite bag, I don't gossip.
The governor bade me make the rounds. Is anyone acting strange?
Why would he ask you that?
Everyone keeps secrets, and I have a talent for uncovering them.
I ain't got no secrets. I ain't done no wrong. Search me house if you don't believe me. See for yourself. And when you're done, if you're any kind of man, you'll come back here, doff your cap, apologise, then shite off and never come back.
If you're looking for someone acting strangely, I think you've found your man.
I'll be leaving you alone for now.
A man content with his own company is never alone. You hear that? Good one, right? Feels terrible, doesn't it?
Oh, okay. This is a completely... Let's step out of this because this is a different haunting investigation. So Brian's saying that he has passed a second test of the new job and has one more to take. Brian, that's very exciting news. I hope everything continues to go well. Best of luck on the third stage there. Dawn, if you're still here, did that rundown give you some sense of what the game is about? Hopefully it was hopefully it gave some backdrop without, too much.
Red McCraith, sir. The Banisher, at your service. May I ask your name?
Bachelor. Hugh Bachelor. I was the school teacher here in New Eden, in the times before. I do not need the services of a heretic today, and nor do the people of New Eden.
He seems pleasant.
What does a teacher do with no kids to teach?
Teaching, sir, takes preparation. At some point in the future, the roads will open and the children will return, and I, sir, shall be prepared.
Why didn't you leave with the kids?
For some time I wished I had. Watching the children walk away near broke my heart. For many weeks I was lost. But the Lord had other plans for me. I know it now.
And they are?
You shall see for yourself soon enough that you may bear witness.
In other words, wait till they get a load of me.
What news around and about?
I'll make no report to a troublemaker like you.
I must take my leave of you, sir.
God keep you, for I shall not.
Also, I don't know if we're supposed to, have an opinion on him hanging out next to the well that apparently smells really bad and also has been capped because it's toxic. Or they strongly believe that the illness is spreading from the water. All right, now, as far as I know, that gate there to the left now is going to take us out. I don't feel like we've talked to this person yet. Unless he has a mustache. No.
Mr. Cotto.
Good day to you, Mr. McCraith.
Absolutely has a mustache. Okay.
I should go.
And I must work.
Now, the woman that he was arguing with, the alewife, I think is how he identified her. He also gave her name, but I don't remember it. We haven't talked to her yet. Matthew 4:4. Good luck in Boston. Don't forget I believe in you as you believe in him. Aspen. Aspen letter to Perry Cottle, July of 1686. My dear Perry, I'm writing this letter to you so you will take it with you to the new world and not forget the old woman I am. I'm so proud of you. You are no longer the little boy I picked off the streets. You are now a complete and passionate man. I am sure that the new world will bring you the meaning you seek and that you will be the most talented baker in your area. Be as passionate as you are now. Remain dignified in the face of adversity and pay tribute to this beautiful calling of ours. Don't forget that feeding others is an honorable mission and that our Lord is watching over you. Visit me one day if you can, but above all, write to me. I wish you the best of luck, Aspen. Aspen's a cool name. Probably a really nice tree as well, but I like the name Aspen. So, yeah, let me go out. Hold on, we did look in here, right? Yeah. Let's go out the back way. We'll see if there's anything back here. Oh, nope. So anytime there's something glowing, it draws my eye, but then I remember, oh, wait, we're not supposed to smash the ghost traps. I don't know what would happen if we try. Like, maybe he straight up can't. Maybe Antea would block him, or maybe we would, and then, like, people would start getting mad about it. But the ghost wards are there because it was one of the things that Governor Haskell set up to, in this case, correctly, adequately, ward off spirits. It's also warding off Antea, which is why she's not showing up during the dialogue cutscenes, but she specifically said, don't draw attention, don't do anything weird. Our goal is to find the truth, and you can do that with me just like whispering in your ear as opposed to being physically present. Or non-physically present. This is the governor's son, right?
Lammy.
Yeah.
Yes?
Good day to you, Lammy.
Good day to you, sir.
So, Brian, are you at liberty to say what kind of job it is? Like, what's the nature of the work? It's like there's a lot of people out there that are looking to move to something that they're interested in working with, I hope. And as a result, there's a lot of job competition out there. Yeah, as Inner says, on the right track for Brian. Wow. Okay, so there has to be something in here for us eventually, but at the moment, it's just somebody else's bedroom. I don't feel like we've had a go talk to people and get the lay of the land quest since the very beginning. This was one of the things that we did in New Eden, which was sort of just like go around and talk to whoever we met to collect information about, to get us started on the investigation. That's what we did when we first arrived in New Eden, and now we are doing it again. But between these 2 points, from episode 1 to episode 21, this is our place. I do not know where the alewife is. And now maybe it's one of these structures back here or back here. So we might as well go up here. Now, that's the meeting house. It's a bit of a fixer-upper. We don't really have anything to say to the governor yet, though.
Good day to you, madam.
Richard, that you?
Afraid not, ma'am. Red McCraith, I'm a banisher.
Is that a breed of doctor I've not heard of? I need no bandages.
And here I was thinking I was famous.
What brings you here, doctor?
I'm a banisher, not a doctor. I'm here to help.
Kind of you, but I need no help.
Well, then I'll not insist. May I ask your name?
You, young man, have a tongue as refined as your appearance is rough. I'm Hepzibah Perkins. Goody Perkins to you.
Did you say, Hapsifoot? I feel like that's what she said.
What's new round and about? Do you know?
I'm not the crier. I've neither the voice nor the memory for it.
What can you tell me of Governor Haskell? What's your view of him?
Oh, he's such a clever man. Listens keenly. He is vain, though. These men are often very, very lonely, you know.
Do you know Lamentation? Lammy Haskell, the governor's son. What think you of him?
Oh, he's a good boy. Like his father in that respect.
How are things in the Harrows?
Folk are upset. The governor says there's a witch. That would explain all the death and disease. And what have you. I only leave the house to attend service. For God has granted me wisdom and mercy.
I'll bid you good day, Goody Perkins.
May God grant you grace, Mr. McCraith.
One of the interesting sort of details about this world is that everybody knows what a banisher is. Like, banishers, it's just like, it's a job description that everybody is familiar with. And yet, the actual things that banishers can and seemingly frequently do, such as the way that Red can sort of like wave his hand over somebody's chest and reap the soul right out of their body, they seem very surprised by that. So it's just interesting what people do and don't know about this profession. Also, just the existence of ghosts and demons and I guess witches is just something that everybody accepts. I will say the fact that everybody's like okay with banishers, but like, oh, witches, no, we have to like find the evil one that's hurting us and get rid of her, which is like very historically accurate, is a little surprising given how much crossover there is between witches and banishers. And for that matter, probably the magic that Governor Haskell there can do with his demonology. It seems like exactly the sort of thing that would be frowned upon, but for him it's okay. For Red it's okay. For Antea it was okay. I mean, she was a banisher as well, and I guess still is. But if you're a witch, oh no. Those black fingers and like the short hair, no, we hate those guys. So I'm just verifying that I don't feel like I can get into this structure yet, which it looks like there'd be some stuff for sure, but maybe not now. Brian, by the way, is saying that the job he's out to get is a customer service representative that deals with passports. That is very cool, Brian. I imagine that that's going to be like work that moves at a pretty quick pace. And the fact that there's multiple tests to be considered makes a lot of sense for that style of work. But I hope it continues to go well and you remain on that good track and get the offer. Okay, so similar to a bathhouse, apparently, I don't know what an alehouse looks like, so I'm not sure where we haven't investigated so far. Hold on, let's look at this man carefully. Have I interacted with you? No. We saw this guy up at the meeting house with sort of the one other color eye. It looks a bit blinded, but it could just be different in some way. But we have not talked to this guy yet.
Good day to you, Mr. McGrath.
I'd wish you the same if I knew your name, sir.
Ishmael Law. I have seen you in the meeting house. I have recognized the markings on your hands. I would have liked to have been a banisher, to tackle with the mysteries of our world. That must be something.
You wanted to be a banisher? That's unusual.
As a child, I met a banisher. I was impressed by the marks on his hands, the assurance in his demeanor. He made me feel safe. You do God's work, though you know it or not. Like Charles Davenport, I respected the minister a great deal. He's a terrible loss.
You wanted to become a banisher. Why didn't you?
I got married instead. Came to New England. Ruined everything.
Tell me about folk round here.
A vast subject that requires, perhaps, a more specific question.
Tell me about Governor Haskell.
A man like me does not get to know a man like him. He is a man of faith. We all trust him. That's all I can say.
Tell me about Lamentation Haskell.
Nice boy. Very secretive. I do not understand the things he says. Fortunately, he does not say them to me.
How about you? How are you feeling?
I've not been asked this in a long time. I am feeling a bizarre conflict between faith in the Lord and sheer unholy terror.
I mostly meant how's your day going, but sure.
Thank you for your help.
You are welcome, sir.
I've got to remember that specific response the next time somebody asks, hey, how's your day? Wait, and the... Oh! You guys, ending the haunting of Caleb Watson is apparently the next step in Witchfinders. I was still talking to people. Also... Was it... Banish your garment? Okay, I don't hate it. This is what we were wearing a moment ago, and this is a few levels behind. This would be somewhat less strength, more willpower and wisdom for Antea, less wrath, but not by that much. It's kind of all averages out, I'd say. More health. Wow, a lot less spirit. Like, look at it's almost a 50-point drop in spirit. And 10 points, like a third, pretty much, of physical percentage. Hitting an enemy grants 2 banish points. Well, you can't complain about that. I actually think that the bonus is better than what we have on this one, but that feels like a lot of red. I feel like with the 50-point drop in spirit and physical protection, that sort of offsets the 10 to 20 point boost, sometimes 30-ish, there for health that you get for survivability. But yeah, no, he wasn't kidding. He did want to be a Banisher. He got the costume and everything. Okay. Getting the sense that this person is probably just in the other room and feeling just fine.
Can you find a way around the locked door?
Do you guys ever see that, like, what was it, like Haunted Home Inspectors or something like that? Where the psychic walked up to, like, what was very obviously a shrine and was like, I'm getting the sense that this person might have passed away or something like that. There's a great Jenny Nicholson video on paranormal home inspectors, isn't it called something like that? Hugh Batchelor's diary, page 2, 16th of September, 1686, so a bunch of years ago, almost 10. Our first months in New Eden went well. Marcy integrated rather well, people speak to her, and even if they are sometimes a little confused by her words, they do not judge her, and they seem to believe her when she speaks about her visions. That's because these people are true Puritans, true subjects of God. 28th September, so weekish later. Today, Marcy refused to go out, and she hardly spoke to me, locked in her thoughts. I think our Lord is communicating with her. Sometimes she reminds me of our mother. Even if she did not have divine visions, the same brightness shone in her eyes, the same brightness of holiness. Sometimes I'm a little disappointed that I did not inherit our mother's wisdom, but in the end it's better this way. I may not be God's direct interlocutor, but I am the protector of his mouthpiece. 2nd of October. Father and Mother would be proud to see us. Marcy discusses with our companions, and my reputation grows day by day. I'm becoming a respectable man in our community. I miss our parents sometimes, and I wish they hadn't left so young. I wish I hadn't had to take care of Marcy when I was old enough to get married, but that was my destiny, and today I understand it. Because today, Marcy and I... Okay, no, it's fine. Form a divine duo, the Word of God and its interpreter. I just for a moment thought that divine duo might mean something different, and it didn't. It's fine. And when we die, we will be at the right hand of our Lord, proud of what we have accomplished during our time on earth. Caroluna's got a turn in. Caroluna, thank you very much for hanging out today. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. 5th of August, 1686. I think our move to New Eden was a good thing. In Boston, Marcy was not appreciated. She was even rejected. These people don't understand anything. Here, a new life awaits us, and the people of this small town seem more godly than our former neighbors. I'm sure that Marcy will be listened to. So, without any further information, I think that maybe Marcy is having some sort of, like, if Marcy has some sort of, what's the phrase that I'm thinking of? Schizophrenia, for example, where she sees and hears things that other people don't, then that could account for her believing that they are messages from God that should be interpreted. I don't feel like that would have been well understood back in the era that this takes place. I don't remember talking to a man hammering a door. And then we might go ahead with the Caleb Watson quest. Oh, no, we definitely talked to that guy. Okay, let's interact with Caleb Watson. This will be our haunting case, since this is apparently main story. So we're gonna head over to haunting cases and follow. So Caleb Watson is the dude who we came in, and he's got this like bright red nose and the sallow sunken cheeks, the black eyes around his eyes. Club!
Both will.
Club, thank you very, very much for the resubscription. I hope that your week is going well. How have you been? And, oh, I also saw that Risk of Rain Returns is on a very deep sale over on Green Man Gaming. So if you knew anybody who had, like, been watching any of your streams or otherwise interested in it, it is, like, 40% off, I want to say. Late payment. Mistress Walcott, I write in all kindness to remind you gently of your outstanding bill for the repairs done on your boots. Late payment serves no one, you must know it, and this is not the first time you've left me hanging. Perhaps you'd be so kind to pay your bills of a morning before you open your bottle. Okay, despite your foul words, I remain your friend, Caleb Watson. This is a very diplomatic message, I read it as, for somebody who is doing him wrong, and he's been much, much more rude to us in person, so this speaks to a change in personality. Club, I've been watching very carefully to see if there's been any news about an XCOM 3 or anything like that. Like, it feels like now might be the time, like you said, to do an announcement for, like, something coming out later in the year, and boy, my fingers are crossed.
You'll bugger off soon.
Fascinating. Does each citizen have their own?
What do you think?
2 of them are missing. Alexander and Ruth Watson. Family?
It might be something we can ask about, but I hadn't noticed the nameplates before she said something. We've got
It's ours anyway.
Cottle, Watson, and
since the beginning. You know
the 2
it's
Watsons, Watson A and Watson B. And then we've got Barrow, Pennington. Then it's slightly too dark for me to read. Haskell? Oh yeah, Haskell. And then a different Haskell, the other Haskell, the younger Haskell. And then O'Hara.
Fear not. You'll bugger.
Anonymous rendezvous note. Dear Mr. Watson, I'm responding to your letter regarding my abilities. I'm delighted to know that we share the same interests, and it would be very nice to be able to meet with you to discuss the subject. Indeed, I would like to know more about the extent of your knowledge and your technical abilities. However, if possible, I would like to meet you somewhere quiet and secluded, away from those who would monger scandal, as I know that the work of an artist can excite emotions, especially if not correctly understood. People are rarely objective, and I would not want to taint the professionalism of our interview. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Yours and sincerely, your friend and fellow craftsman. If this was an email, it's not even a particularly well-crafted phishing scam. Here in 1695, I don't really know what to make of it, except that they seem to be in a form, interested in art that other people would not enjoy very much. Or possibly would enjoy too much, but that seems less likely. Governor's acknowledgement. Mr. Watson, I herewith write to you personally to thank you for your diligence, application, and hard work towards building a new future for the company. Mastery of a craft is, as I'm sure you know, a side of godliness, and as surely as day follows night, a village of well-shod parishioners is a sure sign of the Lord's prosperity. With my sincerest salutations, the Right Honorable Fairfax Haskell, Governor of New England. New Eden. Caleb's love letter. Ruth, I've long considered sending you this letter at all, as I can only imagine how it will make you suffer. But I believe that an omission of the truth is a lie in the eyes of God, and so a sin, even if pretending nothing is wrong, would be easier on us all. And so a sin, even if pretending nothing is wrong, will be easier on us all. Alexander is unfaithful. He sees harlots behind your back. I don't know Alexander, not by name. There, the truth is out. I have been long familiar with Alexander's depravity. He might be charming and quick-witted, but his soul is defective and God has rejected him. No matter what the town might want to say about you, I know that you are pure. I know your soul untouched, bright and godly. I admire your grace and the purity of your heart, as revealed in your words and your actions. The world fades around your presence, and my love is ever growing. My home is always open to you, dear Ruth, as is my heart. If we've met somebody named Ruth, we've encountered a lot of people in a very short time, so I'm not sure if we know Ruth yet.
Being courted by two brothers at once rarely ends well.
Personal experience.
Don't go there.
Hours anyway. Should have been out.
A medallion found in Caleb Watson's cobbler shop, engraved with the initials RW, so Ruth Watson. Containing a lock of blonde hair, it's in very poor condition. That was weirdly disorienting. There we go. The back door.
Debris from a burned down house?
Why keep it here?
Yeah, Club, among other things, I really appreciate the resubscription. And 48 months. I only just noticed the exact number. 48 months? Jesus Christ. Sir, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it.
What's this? It's not metal, not wood. Bone. It's bone. Lovely.
4 years. Notice, hear ye, the deaths and subsequent funerals have taken place of Alexander Watson and Ruth Watson, wife and brother to shoemaker, Caleb Watson, both dead tragically in the fire at the Watson house and buried with dignity. Well, this is why we didn't meet Alexander or Ruth. Buried with dignity before Caleb and his friends and neighbors at the eyes of our God's acre. Ruth is remembered as a devoted wife with a kind and gentle presence in our company. Alexander is remembered as a troubled man, oft bottle-bound, who caused much vexation and was given to great sin, yet who redeemed himself at the end by rushing heedless into the flames in a futile effort to save his sister-in-law. We pray for their acceptance at the right hand of God. So, there was a fire, Alexander rushed in to save Ruth and didn't come back out. And apparently enough people either witnessed it or were made aware of the story that he was considered a hero post-mortem.
Ruth and Alexander Watson, the cobbler's wife and brother.
He's surely haunted, but where's the ghost?
I think we need to talk to Caleb Watson.
This is wrong. It's wrong, I tell you. You done enough sniffing? Tired of the smell of your own arse?
You said you had no secrets. That was a lie, am I right? Everyone has secrets.
I can smell your secrets from here, mate. A pox on you. And a pox on your questions, too.
You'll not take him head on. You must take your time, outflank him.
There's burned debris out back. I found bone in it. Where does it come from?
You must have little business if you spend your time sifting through my rubbish. It came from the house. Probably.
I read your letter to Ruth. It's clear you loved her. Were you telling the truth about Alexander's infidelity?
My name is Caleb Watson. And before God and all present, I swear that the letter I wrote to Ruth was a load of shite. Lusting for his beloved Ruth, I set out to ruin Alexander's name, 'cause I'm a greedy little prick.
You're frank. You don't sound like you regret it, though.
No, the past's the past. Dead and buried. My brother is but a lingering memory.
It was terrible what happened to your wife and brother. Might have helped if you'd mentioned it. You must be grieving. Do you mind if I ask where they're buried?
Shite on me shite bag brother. And shite on you too. They're both deep in the dirt up at God's Acre, and I'll speak no more of it.
What's going on at God's Acre, Caleb?
Shite off with your God's Acre, and good riddance to both. God's Acre concerns you not.
You need to tell me what happened here. Stop hiding.
Nothing happened. Buried. Oh, quiet you. And you can shite off, taking your nothing happened with you.
I feel like we're dealing with a straight-up possession.
Whatever happened, it happened at God's Acre.
The once well-respected... Okay. Once likely well-respected, the haggard, disheveled, and possibly demented shoemaker no longer seems all there. An all-pervasive stench of rot surrounds him. They resented each other, the brothers did. To win her for himself, Caleb Watson turned Ruth against his brother. So, what I was saying there is that just based on how he was speaking there, it seems like there's a disagreement inside his own head about what he wants to say and how it should be said. Seems a lot like the ghost. We're not seeing the ghost around because similar to Antea, the ghost is like inside of him. And is probably exerting quite a bit more control than Antea ever attempts to do over Red. Don't feel like we explored the pier last time, but we might have. Anything new out here? No. Alright, yeah, otherwise we're going to continue on towards God's Acre.
Thoughts on Caleb?
You first, young man.
I'm thinking possession, but not demonic, no mirror or whatnot.
Agreed. Possession is plausible. We jump to no conclusions. Instead, we gather proof.
Okay. The note about the mirror there is really awesome because consider if we had not come here if we had come here first and we're doing this quest without having done the mirror quest from up north, you have to imagine that Red would not have made mention of a mirror. It would have seemed completely out of left field. But here, he's referencing a different quest, one that is still ongoing, I might note, about the demon mirror. And he's drawing a direct parallel between these two cases in that they have seen another form of possession. I really like it when developers take the time to put in something like that. I hope that's not like too meta of a thing to say. It's just every once in a while, you can appreciate the story for the craft that went into it by the human beings that made the game.
God's Acre?
God's Acre.
Seems real godly. So we know how these drawbridges work. There is going to be one or two, in this case, one rope.
Too heavy to lower from your side.
Okay, so yeah, we've got to work out a different way to get there. Can we shoot this body down? I feel like we can, but not from down here. Because if you look very carefully, yeah, you can see just a bit of, like, orange in there. And I want to say that if we shoot that, then the body will fall. I just hope that I remember that at some point when we have a clear angle on it. I also wonder, and this is me sort of wondering aloud and not wanting an answer at this particular moment. I wonder if you make the decision to, like, have Antea ascend and are not reaping all the souls, if she physically changes in appearance in any way. Because she still looks exactly as we left her off, except there's a bit of, like, force ghosty to her, especially when, like, on the side that isn't shining with light. In other words, if she's sitting next to a torch or if the sun is shining on her, the surfaces where the light would touch seem very human. And then any place that would be in shadow, instead of sort of being darker, it just sort of like mellows out to this blue glow, which gives her this otherworldly appearance that I think looks really good on her and really all the ghosts. With her, though, it does feel like it should mean something, that the area, the parts of her that are exposed to light seem fully corporeal, and it's only once you sort of like look around the edges that you're like, oh wait, this is not a complete person yet. I kind of think it's the same no matter what. But man, it would be super cool if there was some ongoing visual representation of like the decisions that you've made. Because among other things, like I wouldn't know. I only know the playthrough that we're doing, not what might happen elsewhere.
Here we are. Let us find the graves of Alexander and Ruth, and whatever got Caleb acting so strange.
So, the other day we had a chance to, speaking of Caleb, the other day we had a chance to watch the latest Neil Breen movie, Cade the Tortured Crossing. Regrettably, I don't think that this is the Neil Breen that I like. Oh, I hear whispering. Maybe I don't. Except I definitely do. Well, I hear something.
Call on me.
I feel like Neil Breen, as a filmmaker, is at his best when he is interacting with other people, going places, setting up cameras, interacting in real spaces. And in his previous film, which was called Twisted Pair, there was a lot of green screen work, a lot of not going places. Can I shoot it from here? I doubt it, but let's just double check. And I felt like I could sort of get a sense of like, oh no, this is not going to be good for his future films, because he seems to be becoming enamored of this like special effect technology and not doing the thing that I think shows off Neil Breen films in their best light, which is Neil Breen playing this fantastical version of himself while interacting with other people that are, with varying degrees of success, trying to say the lines that he has written for them.
Get lost, won't you?
Oh.
Get out of there! Possession incoming. I'm right here, you know.
And so it's with a... Oh, hold on.
Is that a female?
I think I see a patella.
Lovely.
So it feels very unfortunate to me that, like, yeah, Neil Breen's most current movie, called Cade the Tortured Crossing, it's a direct sequel, such as it is, to Twisted Pair, but it is completely incomprehensible. I genuinely have no idea how you would even begin to summarize the plot.
Grave robbers.
Yes, but what exactly were they stealing?
That's a feature in pretty much all Neil Breen movies, but at least there's certain threads that you can latch onto. So even if you don't know why anything happens, you can at least sort of describe what occurred. And in this movie, like, literally, there's long segments of just people falling on the ground and rolling around.
There's another grave beneath it.
Wait, on this one? Ruth? There's another grave beneath the existing one. I don't know how she knows that. I haven't worked out the nature of this area. It's part graveyard and part, like, quarry, which is a weird combination of things that are not usually together. Excavating the ground in a large pit-like scenario and also laying to rest human remains. Yeah, so we're supposed to go down a bit. I just want to run up here.
We're not finished here.
Oh, okay. Just coming down here, this is a really sort of small indie release, but for fans of Neil Breen, it's like, oh, this is finally available, and yes, it is. And also,
Ready and waiting.
If undertakers did this, they should find other work.
I doubt there's a job on Earth that suits whatever did this.
fun.
Decoys to distract wayward specters. Rudimentary. Someone's had a little training.
Well, I mean, on the list of people with a little bit of training, Lammy Haskell didn't take to being a demonologist, but he might have picked up a few basics.
Here did lie Alexander Watson.
Did Caleb take their bodies?
Someone did, and he's at the top of my list.
Well, they made quite the mess. Perhaps the decoys may show us the way.
Follow the path. Don't get too close.
I'll try.
Hello to Borlak! Borlak, how was your Tuesday? I think I said this the other day, but I hope that Lady B had a great time. You said that she had raided out with more people that had come into the raid train, which must be really awesome. So, it says find the decoys, but so far I've found the one, so I guess we go further up. Someday I want to ask Borlak some more about that video that he sent over once, but we're in the middle of a ghost investigation.
This way. More of them.
Borlak, I hope your week is going well. Work busy at the moment, but overall not too bad. Okay, that sounds good. So here's another decoy.
Piss off!
That's what I was talking about when I said don't get too close.
But we settled it up real quick. Without going into a lot of detail about this topic, which I feel like most people watching probably don't even know what a Neil Breen is. At issue is that Cade the Tortured Crossing, as far as we could tell, is shot 100% on a green screen. There is no location work at any point in the entire movie. The entire thing, such as it is, takes place against a series of JPEGs that Neil Breen has put onto a green screen and then sort of methodically lined up his green screen actors in ways that are, in my opinion, very impressive for like an amateur filmmaker. And again, just so much work went into just like making the characters look a little bit like they were existing in this completely unreal scene that it doesn't feel like any other work was put into other things. And I don't think that that's really true, but man, it just must have been technically exhausting to have these scenes where the person walks behind a element and then in front of it and make sure that they're not like clipping through part of the clip art that's in front of them and stuff. It just, there's so much work that goes into like such poor results. And again, Neil Breen is so good when he's filming around what he has access to, be it like a college campus or his own home or the Las Vegas Strip or a slightly different angle on his own home. Damn it. Crap.
Follow my voice. I can help.
Their attack pattern, those blue teleporty guys, I can't get. They hit me every time. Anytime I try to parry, I'm a beat too early or more likely a beat too late and I just take the damage. Borlak says, what video did I send over? Oh, it's a while back, Borlak. I'd have to call it up. But specifically like the kids video. This is a very old conversation where I'd asked Borlak, like, Borlak, you sound like you're from... I'm forgetting what it was. Like England. And Lady B sounds like she's from Ireland, but Little B, their daughter, sounds like she's just from North America. So I sort of asked him about that, and he's like, oh, well, she's been raised entirely on the internet, and here's like the sort of stuff that they give kids in our part of the world to watch. And maybe if Borlak's still around, we'll call it up then. So we're still trying to find a path between the decoys, and this is going to lead us up and out of the area that we're searching, but I'm still going to come up here to be sure. Yeah.
Demonology. I should have known.
Yeah, so... I'm... Oh, are we now going this way? Right, because it was finding the path up between the decoys, not just finding the decoys. Okay, I'm on board. We know of two potential demonologists. One of them is very good at his craft, from everything that we've been given to believe, and the other one is Lammy Haskell. Oh. Borlak is saying, that's correct. He has a Brummie accent from Birmingham, UK, though not a strong one. Lady B has a rural Irish accent, although again, not a strong one. And our kids all sound like they grew up watching American YouTubers, which they did. All right, let's head through here. But yeah, for anybody that's not familiar, we reference Borlak commonly when we're talking with Lady B and Asper B about Borlak's TTRPG set. By the way, Borlak, and here's another decoy, by the way, we are now actively looking out for another...
This fella again.
Oh.
He's persistent. I'll grant him that.
I'll get you eventually.
Get the hell out of there!
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think this guy has a physical form, which is when Antea will be better.
Great! More fun.
Ow, ow, double out.
Hey!
Oh, come on! You shouldn't be able to teleport out of getting banished. At least I didn't lose my banish ability. Like my banish energy.
Oh, I hate those things.
Wasn't your first, won't be your last.
Aye, thank you.
Vigor Mortis? That's a fun name. It is... Yes. So, little less vitality, little bit less health, but more persistence and spirit. Outburst area of effect size is increased by 70%. Now, our current one is manifestations are increased, damage is doubled, but cooldowns are also doubled. I don't hate this, since we'd be able to do things like the webbing, the ensnare, twice as often. Right now, it has a very long cooldown. If we do 2 snares in a fight, it's a long fight. The issue, and it's a sizable issue, is that it makes red easier to kill, and as we've discussed before...
Shrines now? With bones?
It's like Lady Blackwood's boudoir around here. I sense a fragment of the past.
When red dies, the game is over, so usually I don't want to have him have the lesser of the health bars.
Oh, there, fella. You're nasty, aren't you?
Nasty, yes. But also shoddy. It's very poor work.
Oh, we don't have the tie, so we still need the parchment.
Are you sure we didn't miss anything?
With a bit of luck, we'll find what we need.
Yeah, I'm sure we did miss something.
Is it just me, or...?
I felt it too.
An aged parchment, smudged and discolored, on which is written the annotated instructions for the incantation of the Lesser Palingenesis, a powerful resurrection ritual.
What is this?
It looks like a butchered version of the ritual of Lesser Palingenesis.
The ritual of... that ritual? The one that brings someone back? That ritual?
Yes, that ritual.
I just want to double check. Let's just make a pact to explore up there next. I don't think it's relevant to what we're doing down here. I'm sorry, are we doing a hearkening? When we walked up, I think he said, I feel like there's an echo. I'm gonna do a hearkening, I hope that's correct. It might also be a make manifest. Borlak, what I was saying is that we're gonna look to pick up the physical Pathfinder and Starfinder books.
As flesh unto verb, as verb unto heart, as heart unto flesh. Death's knot is unsevered, and I shall cut it.
Caleb Watson invoked a ghost without a body for it to inhabit, so it took his. Caleb is no longer Caleb.
He got the wrong ghost, too.
He used pieces of his wife and also of his brother.
Ruth, Alexander, Caleb, could be any combination of them in there.
Let's go find out which.
because the bodies got mixed up. Like, that's the part that I'm still a little bit... When we went up there, Antea was like, oh, there's like there's a grave underneath the grave. So were they literally buried one on top of the other, and then he couldn't tell which was which, so he just sort of like grabbed some pieces? It looked like the coffins had spilled out and maybe gotten a bit jumbled up, but I can't figure out what happened at the gravesite. So yeah, Borlak has been running, I think he specified, a Pathfinder 2nd edition TTRPG that's primarily shown in Tailspire, which I think is brilliant. Like I've said this before, Borlak, but the time that you put into crafting those maps and getting everybody together and doing it, I think it's great for the players and great for the viewers. But while we sort of wait to see what 1D&D turns out to be, like how that all comes together, I'd like to at least learn the Pathfinder system. Having read some more, and I'm not the only one here, I'll say that. Having read some more of the system, it feels like exactly what... Let me just see if there's anything else here for us. Not really, although we might just take a quick look at this point of interest on the way back. Borlak had described 2nd edition as being everything that's good about Pathfinder, but a little bit more accessible, like just a little bit more manageable for newcomers. Okay, it is... The question mark is just sort of doing what it feels like. And then, like, just before Pathfinder 2nd Edition Remastered was released, which was, like, November of 2023, shortly before that, like, Starfinder Enhanced came out, which had some rule revisions.
Nearby.
Where is it?
That rebalanced some stuff, and I feel like that would be cool to check out as well. I feel like we don't have enough dolls.
Careful. A dark will is upon that thing.
Yeah, no, we're one of 3 farmers. We'll probably discover more. I hope we'll discover more as we go further out into the world here. But for now, that is
I feel something close.
A firm comeback later. At various points, Humble Bundle has had, like, PDF downloads of all of the... basically all of the Pathfinder books with the... You know, and it's sort of like a donation to charity, and then you get all of these PDFs. I think that, if possible, we'd rather go with the physical editions. Having also the PDFs at some point would be nice, and we'll probably... So I'm just taking note of how much I want that. Okay, but there's nothing for us to shoot here in terms of, like, knocking open a thing. This house is right there. So let's see if we can work our way around to it. That's where he got Pathfinder. Wait, I hear something. Is it just that? Borlak is saying that that's where he got Pathfinder from. It was through Humble Bundle. With this particular haunting case, I feel like I'm being really slow on the uptake about why there's a graveyard, but then, like, a whole bunch of the bodies are unearthed and, like, you know, opened up and stuff. Because, like, the cobbler, what's his name? Caleb, he knew where his, like, brother and sister-in-law were buried, so I don't understand why all of the graves were unearthed. And if it was something else that did the unearthing, like, hypothetically, something else was digging up the bodies and, like, ransacking them, and that's why I do see the doll now. That's why when he went to, like, retrieve the pieces of Ruth, there was some confusion, so he grabbed what he thought was the right pieces, and they weren't all hers. or maybe even mostly hers. So the sad thing is that now that's 2 out of 3 farmer parts or farmer dolls. I don't know where the third is yet. And it feels like we're about to leave this area, but that will be something that I can explore later if I want to. And I do want to. Okay. Oh. Somebody did not like me lowering that drawbridge.
They brought more friends. Away with you!
Oh! That one snuck up right behind me. I didn't realize he was there. I missed the bright red indicator. And that's just God Acres. God's Acre is the cemetery. Yeah, I'm not gonna go back in there to demonstrate, like, the part that I... Wait, we didn't... Hold... Okay, sorry. I definitely want to go get this, because this is a fast travel point. I didn't realize that I failed to unlock a fast travel point. If nothing else, I feel like being familiar with a variety of different, like, role-playing systems, it sets you up better to understand how new role-playing systems work, because, like, you have a broader understanding of where the industry is and what works and what doesn't. And if you're smart enough, I'm not, but if you are smart enough, then you could sort of mix and match the things that work best, take inspiration from different systems to make the best possible version. So I don't know what it's telling me, except that I'm going to go this way towards the farmhouse. Yeah, I completely missed this place when we were going through.
This would do nicely if I wanted to put my legs up.
Oh, and Borlak is actually saying that he hasn't played TTRPG Pathfinder, only the computer game, but it's based so heavily on D&D 3.5 that by the looks of it, he does have all the Pathfinder books, so we should really take a look. So, yeah, I thought that your weekend campaigns, with the next one coming up like March 18th. Is it March 18th? I think that's what Astro B said. I thought that was Pathfinder. I get mixed around. Evolution, sure. So I do have some red points, but I don't think that there's any red abilities that would take a point right now. Correct. So we'll just leave. The game that he's running is Savage Worlds. Okay. Well, I've used a lot of different systems over the years and never found one as friendly as Savage Worlds. I don't know that I've heard of Savage Worlds, or if I had, I would have thought of it as being a setting, less a system. Okay, let's head back. There's part of me that wants to go check out Rescue Mission, but the good news is now we can just fast travel there. Is there any reason in our minds not to just fast travel here? No, we've run that path. We'll just bamf right over there. Oops, wait, that's not what I wanted. That sort of blur that you see there is us stepping into the warded zone so that Antea cannot manifest. I don't feel like we've talked to her.
Good day, sir.
Good day, madam.
Mistress. Lucy Barrow, the alewife.
Red McCraith, the Banisher. Alewife, is it? I'd never have guessed from looking at you.
And what does an alewife look like, Mr. Banisher?
She's got you there.
Did I? Yes? Let's just ask her about her work.
Tell me about yourself. About your work.
What are you, the census taker? I'm Lucy Barrow. I'm earnest, proud, clever. I'm a widow of 41. My husband and I ran a tavern in England. I was the brains, he was... well, he was there. And if you call me Widow Barrow, I'll fetch my shears and dock your chestnuts.
What brought you to New Eden?
Freedom. Prosperity. The chance to watch good Puritan men drink till they are sick, even as they fill my purse. And chestnuts. I came for chestnuts.
Borlak, can you please ask Lady B to add a sound alert where she says, "And if you call me Widow B." The grass is doing something very interesting in the foreground. I'll get my shears and dock your chestnuts.
I found a journal. It was written by someone who signed Lucy B. Would that be you?
What did it say?
The writer spoke of hunger, harsh winters, bad dreams. If I remember rightly, they described these nightmares as loathsumptuous.
A stupid word. I made it up. I'd rather you hadn't read that. It belongs to me.
You write well. Perhaps there's a book in you, a novel. All the rage in London, I'm told.
A book, he says. The world needs ale, Mr. McCraith. It does not need books.
Now, I happen to know that the alewife hears stories others don't. So, what's new?
Want a story, do you? All right. Recently, I saw Phoebe Walcott walking strangely. She was hiding something under her coat. I don't know what it was, but she went into her barn, and when she came out, she no longer had it. I've seen her repeat the deed on several occasions. Not that I'm counting, nor that I care.
Wasn't there somebody else who said that they saw somebody, like, carrying... Like I saw him go laden into the barn, and then when he came out, he didn't have it anymore, but I don't know what he was carrying. I'm pretty sure that was one of the first people that we talked to.
How's life in the Harrows? As sweet as you would wish?
When is life as sweet as one could wish?
Well, that depends on how you define sweetness.
Sweeter ale sells better, but the sweetness makes it weaker.
Tell me about the governor. Not a big ale drinker, I imagine.
Sadly, no. Perhaps if he had been, he might not have been such an arseworm. He's a man, afraid of me, an educated woman. He pries, comes calling to check the contents of my pot. He's afraid, a scared little man. I am a woman of brains and means, but despite that, nay, because of it, I fear the witch hunt.
What can you tell me about Lamentation Haskell?
I hardly know him. He doesn't talk much. I suspect he's smart, but it's hard to tell. He's a little boy. Adorable, of course, but hardly interesting.
Would you be interested in the trade at all?
What do you need?
Probably very little. Let's take a quick look. I actually don't think that I need anything from her right now, but I need nest silt. I need scourge accretion, although we're close. We do need some waxy cap agaric, but I feel like I'm finding that out in the world right now. I mean, I've got money, but I just don't need it right now. And then if we wanted to upgrade this, we have plenty of striped wintergreen, so it's just the scourge accretions.
I'll take my leave of you for now.
Have a good day, sir.
Well, I can say that Savage Worlds is a generic system, not a setting, although it started life as Deadlands in 1996. That is not to be confused with that computer role-playing game that everybody really... Was that Darklands? I think I'm thinking of Darklands. Have I been into this structure? I absolutely do not remember. Probably. Since there's nothing at all for us to look at. So let's go confront Caleb. What I'm probably thinking of, Borlak, is that I'm pretty sure that there was an Ultima spin-off called The Savage World or something. There were 2 Ultima spin-offs. One was like Martian Chronicles. That was the second one. And then there was one called like Savage World or Savage Lands or something like that. And that the dinosaur one there, my family never got. So I never had a chance to play that one. But the Martian one, we did play a bunch of. And it had like Jules Verne and... There were some other, like, famous characters, like Nikola Tesla or somebody. Maybe it was Thomas Edison. There were, like, a whole bunch of, like, historical figures that got on a train that got shot to Mars. And then were just, like hanging out on Mars and not suffocating to death and doing whatever it was. But it was, like, a really, like, fanciful take on, like, even what Ultima was. Well. It was cool at the time.
Nothing bad will ever come to us again. Shite off.
We've been to God's Acre. Quite a tale it told us. You're not Caleb, are you? Or at least not entirely.
Ah, can't fog you. Alexander Watson. Long tale short, Caleb tried to bring his dead wife back. And I live here now.
So many questions. Where to even start?
Right, I thought that Ruth was married to Alexander. I feel like there's a whole chapter to this that I promise you guys that even though we've been talking about other stuff, I've been paying attention to this. Alexander was married to Ruth. Ruth was getting love letters from Caleb. There was a fire that killed both Ruth and Alexander, as far as I know. So when Alexander says that he tried to bring back his dead wife Ruth, I feel like there's a section to this story that I really missed.
He was trying to bring his wife back. How did you end up in the mix?
Caleb made a fine cobbler, a poor brother, a worse husband, and a truly terrible witch. The ritual went to shite, because... of course it did.
Do both of you share Caleb's body?
Share? No. This house of flesh is mine. But because I am a generous man, I allow my brother to live in the cellar. We were twins. I was the rotten half, they said. But who's the rotten half now? There's something else you should know. If you don't know it already, I'm not alone. I completed the ritual. My darling Ruth is in here too.
You died trying to save Ruth from a burning house. True.
True.
I honestly don't know which one of these I want to ask, because this might encourage him to talk more about himself, which could be helpful. But also, where was Caleb? Well, he's just going to be insulting. He's not going to tell us the truth if it's anything, like, exculpatory, so...
I'm sorry. There's an awful way to go, and so young, too. You deserve better.
We deserved better, and now we have it. And with it, Caleb gets to make amends. For he did nothing. He stood and watched us burn. Caleb's name was ruined then. We're just putting the boot in.
I think I completely misused that word, by the way, but...
Caleb was no saint, but this is hellish grim. Does he deserve it?
Aye, he does. And it's not like I killed him. He's alive in here somewhere. Watching me ruin his name. He can hear me now, destroying his reputation, as I had to hear him destroy mine when he painted me a fornicator.
How nice.
He took our love, Ruth and mine, and killed it. Now our love's reborn, and he can do naught but sit and watch. Caleb was a cad. Shite on him. Let him suffer.
You used the ritual to bring Ruth's spirit into Caleb's body. Why?
Love moves a soul to strange endeavors. We deserve a better life. I set myself to claiming it.
I understand your anger, more so your desire. But what of Ruth's? Did you consider what she wanted?
Caleb stole a life from me, but he also stole Ruth's voice. She shrank beneath him. Of course she wanted a second chance at life.
I'd like to hear this from Ruth. May I please speak with her?
No! We've carved ourselves out a little happiness at last. I'll not have you break it. Please, leave us alone. Give us this.
We need to speak to her, one way or another. If he won't tell us anything, perhaps the house Ruth died in will.
So what's going on around town?
You're well placed to see what goes on around here. Help me out. Have you seen anything noteworthy?
I've made a point of keeping people away, but I seek things. And I take note.
Lammy Haskell. Any thoughts about him?
The Haskell boy? What about him? He's weird. Talked with Caleb about nonsense. Both of them were full of shite.
What's your take on the governor?
My brother gave him the Glad Hand Act, and the governor lapped it up. Haskell's opinion of himself is far too high. To win his favour, you need only prop him up. He dragged my name through the dirt. Shite on him, and his so-called eloquence. What use is a silver tongue when your heart is yellow?
Sorry, I like that expression. What good is a silver tongue if your heart is yellow?
Tell me about folk here. Who stands out for you? What think you of them?
What think I of they who shunned me? Gulled by my black-mouthed brother. What think I of malicious fools for whom I had to die to be redeemed? I'd say a curse upon them. But 'tis too late. The curse has already come.
How goes the settlement, would you say?
It's going to hell in a shitting handcart. Not that I care, mind. But there's sport in guessing who shall live and who shall die. Hope they find that witch, though. Can't have witches about the place doing the devil's work.
He's a ghost who performed an additional resurrection ritual to get his ex-wife... I'm still trying to put together this whole family thing. It's super weird. But I believe his ex-wife, soul, into the body of his brother so that the three of them are all rattling around in there. But boy, he takes a hard stance against that devilry that witches do.
I'll be leaving you alone for now.
Alone? Not really. Hush now. All is
okay. I feel like I want to reread their letters or something. Like, the ghost of Alexander Watson is possessing Caleb's body to finally live his love affair with his sister-in-law Ruth. So did I misunderstand the letter? Was it Alexander writing to Ruth about how awful Caleb was? I want to reread that letter. Died trying to save his sister-in-law Ruth. I got completely turned around. I thought Caleb was after his brother Alexander's
nothing bad will ever
wife. Hold on. Mr. Watson. By the way, I still don't know what this means. Oh, do you think that this is Lammy Haskell? I would like to know more about your knowledge and your technical abilities. This is Lammy Haskell writing to him about, like, let's compare demonology resurrection notes. Okay, so we put that together. Governor's acknowledgement. Yes. Ruth. Caleb's love letter. No! Look, this is Caleb. Caleb... Were they not married then? Maybe they were never married. I guess I assumed that Ruth and Alexander were married, but it doesn't say that here. It says that he was running around behind her back. He sees harlots behind your back. His soul is defective. Your soul is untouched. The world fades around your presence, and my love is ever growing. So, yeah. Okay, so she was never married to Alexander. This love letter won her over, and she went with Caleb, and Alexander never got over it and never stopped being pissed off about it. Caleb Watson's cobbler shop with R.W., Ruth Watson, and a lock of blonde hair. Okay. All right. So I was making a bad assumption about, like, who was married to who, but everything's hanging together now.
Ruth and Alexander are having an affair in her husband's body.
I'll not judge, not how much I want to.
Something feels wrong. Something about Ruth. If we find the ghost tie, we can talk to her.
Okay. I assume the burned down house is gonna stand out by its not existing. We'll know that we found it when we don't find it. Just a rubble field. But this is where the meeting house is, so I don't know that it would be up this high. Oh, it's just anywhere in town then. Well, I guess let's walk the perimeter. Let's see what we can find. I don't... Oh, this could be it. Yeah, this place looks like it's in bad condition.
The house that burned down. The roof fell in with them inside.
There's a lot of debris.
And I cannot become Antea because of the ghost wards. Even though I just tried to be sure. I enjoy basically all the stories in this game. I am particularly enjoying this one because it's incredibly depraved. Find a way into the house. Part of me really wants to smash that ghost ward so that we can just Antea. I mean, she can't go through things, but she might be able to see things that I can't. Or that Red can't. Find a way into the house. So, can we... Let's look at the map. Yeah, okay, so there's an up and down. So, let's try to work our way down there, wherever that dotted line goes, maybe? Also, I'm sorry, I didn't think that I read it aloud. Borlak is saying that Deadlands is a Wild West horror setting with magic and elements of steampunk. Borlak, can I share that that is a... like a campaign...
Lords. Think you can fend for yourself?
Or like a...
The ghost wards feel far away from here. Just one keeps me from manifesting. Fancy knocking it down?
Okay, so she is inviting me to find the one ward that is closest to this area. And then we'll be able to yell that wall down. That's sort of like steampunky magic style...
I can't help you.
Setting, that's the word that I'm using, that I'm thinking of. It's something that I've always wanted to, like, find something that does it really well and, like get into it, but I just haven't done it yet.
More efficient than cannon powder.
Okay. Another thing is that I'm sort of like thinking in my head about how Red is processing all of this, because is what they're doing so different than what he's trying to do, with the exception being that he knows enough to wait until they have Antea's body. Sorry. This feels like something that I can or should push. Yeah, so we can move this. But I do want to go inside, so where would we move it to? Oh, right over here. Okay. He knows enough to get Antea's body so that, you know, the soul has a place to go. And unfortunately, Caleb didn't know that when he did all of this, and also sort of, like, mix and match the bones. I grew up for a lot of my life believing that I didn't really like Westerns very much, but it turned out that what I didn't like was... Well, okay, and let me, when I say this, don't at me, because what I should do now is, like, watch it. Oh, okay, we can't quite do there. When I was young and growing up, my friends all, like, really, really loved this movie called Young Guns. And it had, like, Emilio Estevez and, probably Charlie Sheen, Alan Rickman. I don't know who was in this movie, but the point is, I, like, for just whatever reason, I completely bounced off of that movie. I should actually watch Young Guns. Like, it's been so long that I don't know what I would think of it now. And I've never, ever, like, sat down and watched it, but that gave me the impression that I don't like Westerns, when, in fact, True Grit... I don't think that There Will Be Blood counts as a Western, although it's sort of, like, set in the West. I really like that movie. It's so weird. Let's read this. Helena Crow, who loved Young Guns. Everybody loved it. I need to see it. I need to sit down and see it. Caleb and I had another discussion this morning. It's interesting that this paper journal survived the fire, but moving on. I went walking and caught him sobbing in the garden when I came back. He apologized and I took that badly too. He's kind and romantic and listens well, which is why I married him, but I'm sometimes uncomfortable. He is my husband and I am his wife, a woman to be loved and not an icon to be worshipped. What was he sobbing about? We're not meant to know yet, but that's sort of the question that I have. Crow, I hope that you're having a great day. Yeah, there was Young Guns and Young Guns 2, and, like, my friends loved it. Like, they had like, Young Guns, like posters up in their room, and I just didn't get it. Like, this is not me saying, like, oh, man, Young Guns is a terrible movie. This is me being like, I didn't... Are you serious? Oh, my God. Red, just... So, can I yell that door down? Let's try to yell it. No, her yell doesn't go through semi-porous objects. And bullets can't fit through a space that narrow. You have to have a lot more space. So we have to find some way to uncork that. Borlak says Young Guns and Young Guns 2 were both great. Best Western is Unforgiven. Bone Tomahawk is a movie, Borlak, that I've heard a lot about, and we still haven't seen it. I want to see it. I've heard... It's one of those movies where, like, there are people in the world who are very anti that movie. I can't speak to that part of it. I would like to see it and come to my own conclusions.
Tommy must be nearby.
But like Young Guns is one of those movies that it's not like I've avoided watching it for decades. It's never been on. Like, you know how, like, you'll get, like, free preview weekends of HBO or Stars or Cinemax or whatever, and they'll show, like, all of these older movies. Young Guns is just not among them. It's probably available on some, like, streaming service, but... Incomplete Book of Birds. A beautiful homemade illustrated compendium of the birds of New Eden, complete with feathers found to match the drawings. Complete? Not quite. 2 pages are missing feathers, Bonebreaker Crow, and Herring Gull. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of the relationship between Bonebreaker Crow and Harmonious Crow.
This work shows real sensitivity. Caleb?
Maybe. Not Alexander. I suspect we've just learnt a little about Ruth.
I suspect it's a contentious one. So now we have a way out, which is slightly shorter than the way in. Oh, but that wasn't the tie, though. When we came down here, Red said the tie is close. So I feel like Why does it turn blue over here? Okay, it's not up here because it doesn't turn blue up here. So we're very close now. Crow is Harmonious Crow, not Bonebreaker Crow. Crow is lurkinating and making dinner.
From the invisible.
Oh, it's in there. Okay, I see it. Is this her heart? She forgot this when she burned to death in the fire. A withered human heart, it once belonged to Ruth Watson. So what I think actually happened is that this was probably used in the resurrection ritual, and then Alexander put it here. That would be my guess.
Of course. Ruth's heart binds them like a bushel of rotting corn.
You! What do you have there? Stop right there, you rank ramp! Whatever you found, it ain't yours!
You buried Ruth's heart in the ashes of the house that killed her. I find that odd.
You, a ghost, went digging in the ashes of a dead woman's house. You're ill-positioned to call me odd. Don't think I haven't felt your presence before.
Stow your tongue while I speak with Ruth. Ruth, can you hear me? Can you speak?
Puck off and die! I'm in charge here. No. Hush ye, Alexander. I'll speak. I'm Ruth. I hear you.
I'm Antea Duarte. We're here to help.
I'm glad. Please, end this nightmare. Help me. Go to hell in a bag of shite. We're fine. And you have not the right, you hear? You've not the right.
Wait. I want to read the hint. Okay, so Alexander, again, sometimes they jump to things. We read a document saying that he was trying to save her. Does anything at all about Alexander seem like the type, either living or dead, that would have risked his life for her or anybody? I mean, I guess people can do surprising things, but the ghost of Alexander Watson is possessing the body. Ruth Watson wants to be free of Caleb. The ghost of Alexander Watson is holding Ruth hostage inside Caleb's body. And then we've got Alexander, who we haven't actually met yet. It's a cool little effect. Unsettled by Caleb Watson's strange demeanor, Red and Antea searched his workshop for signs of a haunting. Red confronted Caleb again after discovering he was inhabited by two ghosts, Ruth and Alexander, his wife and his brother trapped in the same body. All of these are consequences of Caleb's attempt to bring his dead wife back. Tried to possess the woman that he loved, only to end up possessed. Oh, that's clever. Not like spiritually possessed. He tried to possess the woman that he loved, only to end up possessed by the brother he hated. That I like that little play on words there. Caleb Watson turned Ruth against his brother. Was anything that he said about him false, though? Because this guy sucks. Resented each other, tried to bring Ruth back to life, but ended up possessed.
Give it back!
I need more information here.
Present yourself. I compel it.
No more does he silence me. We may speak. Help me, please.
it was what's his face, Lammy. I don't know who else. I guess we can confirm that. But if we were going to ask, if we only get time for one question,
Caleb's letter changed your life. How did it feel at the time?
It tore me in two. I loved Alexander, but I deserved to marry a man who would be true. Caleb seemed decent. I believed he loved me. I thought I married the better brother, but I'd married a liar. A liar and a devil. And yet, not even he deserves this. No one deserves this.
How did Caleb treat you?
With adoration. I was an idol, worshipped, yet unloved. He was the sculptor and I was the statue, smiling down, unmoving from my pedestal with nothing to say. Now I'm sewn into a festering sack with the quivering remnants of my husband and the angry ghost of his dead brother. Please, let me out.
Who taught Caleb the resurrection ritual?
To say it was taught would mean he'd learned it. He read it off a page. As a sorcerer, Caleb makes a fine cobbler. Thing about Caleb, he was a good listener. As he worked, clients would bend his ear. The Haskell boy, for one. As Caleb pinned the governor's shoes, young Lammy would talk magic. Nonsense, really. But Caleb was listening.
well, I mean, obviously, Lammy Haskell.
Lammy Haskell gave Caleb the resurrection ritual. I should have known. Always watch out for the quiet ones.
After Lammy mentioned the ritual, Caleb became obsessed with it. He begged. Lammy, in his misplaced generosity, gave it. Caleb was intent on dark work. Lammy furnished written instructions.
Ruth, your husband Caleb's botched resurrection ritual brought you back, but allowed his brother Alexander to take you hostage.
Once we deal with the Watson brothers, you shall be free to ascend.
Do what you must. I'll suffer it if it leaves me free to go.
No! We can stay. Please, Ruth, let us stay.
Look at you. You're counterfeit, a sham of a thing. Your so-called life is no life at all. Caleb lied and stole your love. But when the time was right, you lied and stole his body. We're ending this nonsense now.
I'm sorry. This honestly feels like the most complicated situation. So we're gonna go on. One of the things one of the missing elements for me is that Caleb lied and that she doesn't feel like she married the better brother. So let's talk about Alexander for a second. It's possible that this, like, just foul-mouthed, foul-smelling, horrible person who just has nothing but lies and vindictiveness, that we've talked before, being a ghost seems to, like, mess you up real good. So it's possible that Alexander wasn't like this. And again, we're gonna just, I guess, take it right now as an article of faith that he did rush in to try to save Ruth. Caleb, I guess, was standing by. I don't know. The thing that I'm, like, the element that I feel like I'm missing is when she talks about how Caleb lied to her, and when I asked, well, like, how did he treat you? Well, he just worshipped me. And we found a letter, a journal entry that said something very similar to that she's a woman to be loved, not an idol to be worshipped. True. But the fact that she found the relationship emotionally unfulfilling isn't the same thing as being like abused or lied to. It's just that he was super into her and she didn't reciprocate, and that's fine. And in the modern day, you'd say, okay, it's time for you to go, and like she goes on with her life. But here, divorce wasn't really on the table. So here's our options. Blame Caleb. I don't know how we get there. I just don't, and that's why I wanted to talk it through. I can't see any path that this Caleb. In order to get there, what we have to say is that wanting to be with your loved ones so much that you're willing to risk a dangerous ritual that you may not fully understand in order to bring them back is some sort of unforgivable sin, which would be an extremely weird thing for Red to say right now. Okay, so I really feel like that's off the table. Banish Alexander or ascend Alexander? Okay. The only person that we know of that said that Alexander was seeing harlots behind her back was Caleb. Caleb seems like an angry, bitter, awful person. He also was brought back to life against his will. Well, I guess there were like ghosts around him, but he certainly grabbed onto this. In other words, is Alexander responsible for all of the horrible things that he's done since being a ghost? I don't think so. I think we're going to go with ascend Alexander. The reason that I'm going to ascend Alexander, let's look at what he's doing right now very quickly. He resurrected Ruth and now keeps her prisoner in this body. That's horrible. Like honestly, that seems like an unending hell. It honestly feels like the worst possible thing. But he did that after he died. And we know ghosts are irrational. I'll share now that one of the things that's really stuck with me since one of our last sessions is that Anne Wings, who was the nicest human being in the whole world, turned into a howling, screaming banshee who was like poisoning all of like the wintergreen around the woods. Like, being a ghost is not a healthy way to be. So what do we know about Alexander when he was alive? We know that his brother said that he was seeing harlots behind Ruth's back, and we know that in the final moments of his life, he rushed into a burning house to try to save her. The only evidence that we ever had that he was a bad dude is what his brother said. And right now, I'm not sure that that's enough to do something as horrible as banishing. So we're going to ascend him. It feels weird, but I feel like this is as far as I can get on the decision making here, based on the information that I have.
Alexander, you were wronged, but Ruth owes you naught. Not her life, nor her death.
I'm not my brother. I am the man who runs into the burning house. Ruth owes us nothing. But my love is true, and his is not.
Your love is not measured by what you win. It's measured by what you're willing to let go.
I'm sorry, Ruth. You deserved better. Better than him. Better than me. Send me away, Banisher. Let the devil stoke the flames of hell for me, and we'll see if I burn.
Take your head out your arse, you're not that important. Right, hold still, both of you. Let me pry you all apart. There is nothing left for you here.
Are they gone?
Am I speaking with the cobbler, Caleb Watson? That you, Caleb?
I think... yes, that's me. Or it was me, once. For my bastard brother was my hollow keeper.
You're not entirely innocent, though. If you'll permit the unfortunate expression, there was more than one of you in it.
Aye. You were in it too. He ruined my name, ruined my flesh, ruined my wife. You gave him a pat on the cheek of his arse and sent him on his way. I am an imperfect man. My brother was a bastard and sly, and he tricked you onto his side. What does that make you?
I too am an imperfect man. I have mercy and patience in limited supply. Let's not test those limits further, eh?
Oh, Red is just absolutely on fire in this episode. Wow. Let's go report to the governor. Okay. Let's go do that. Somehow. I don't know the fewest number of steps to leave this area, so we'll probably just go down the cliffside. Yeah, we will go there. Okay. How do we leave here? Didn't we climb up here somehow? Here it is. Okay.
I mean, we've seen some horrors, but that...
This is the work.
You're right. There's nothing I'd rather be doing. That was something.
Don't take it to heart. Their choices are not your business.
Our choices are my business. And their consequences too.
Our love story shall have a better ending. I shall be as I was before, as if I'd never gone away.
Aye. I hear you.
Good. Now, let's see what Lammy Haskell has to say about raising spirits from the dead.
She was audibly busy today.
Wait. Spectral stains. Haunted house.
We will start a haunting case after we finish up our current task. Okay, we have talked to that guy. That was a real interesting one to sort of like unfold. Because of the three characters involved in the drama, one of them we weren't able to talk to at all, which was Caleb. So we couldn't come to we couldn't make like a character judgment on that person. And as a result, had to... Sure.
Governor.
May I help you, Mr. McCraith?
I have to admit, this is an unusual case.
Yes, but have you solved it?
I believe so. But the culprit was not responsible for the plague. At least not directly.
Have you found the witch or have you not?
Someone here has been dabbling in some dark magic. I have the name.
So? What are you waiting for?
I have the name. I don't have the full picture. When I do, I'll act.
Come, you have the name. You have the proof. The matter is simple, is it not?
Not exactly. The name is Lamentation Haskell.
No, it can't be. My son is studious. Curious, too curious at times perhaps, but he does not have a bad bone in his heart.
He showed Caleb Watson a ritual. The cobbler used it and became possessed.
Even if true, it would only mean my son was exposed to corruption. It happened before. Bring me proof, Banisher. Find the real source of evil.
Since when has the governor required proof?
I'll get it. Mark me. I must find your son, Governor. Sooner rather than later.
His interests take him hither and thither. If he isn't here, he must be working on the outskirts. He's been sprucing up one of the abandoned houses there. I ordered them emptied when the sickness hit. Here, take the gate key. Go there. See for yourself. You're wrong about him. You're wrong about my son. Needless to say that I count, of course, on your discretion.
Okay, I'm glad that he moved into a chair.
He was quick to condemn till it was his own son on the block. Who's he really protecting?
We'll bring him the proof he wants. If the boy is guilty, his father may not be able to protect him.
I don't think that we have anything to currently upgrade. And again, oh no, we have a spirit point. I think that we might. Do we not? Maybe not. No. 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 Okay, so yeah, we're sort of maxed out on points until we get another, whatever these are called, manifestation ability. I do like that little thing that they do where, like, she sort of walks behind where Red is and then disappears when they wake up. But yeah, we're actually going to call it for this episode right here. Let's go over this one, just to be on the safe side. That was a very, very cool episode. And as we return to the main menu, I'll just note here that I don't... Red has been very, very quick to, like, banish people that did ill in life, but doing ill in death is something different, especially after that Anne Wings thing. I thought that we'd have some point at which to talk, but I talked in a recent episode about how that animation where Antea is so bored, and it really feels like she's just suffering with this crush of time when Red is napping, and how that had really gotten into me. What got into me since the previous episode was that sequence where we had to go hunt Anne Wings. For anybody that doesn't recognize the name, she was the extremely kind-hearted nurse who was taking care of this very, very sick man in the infirmary at Fort Jericho. And then when we banished him for having spit in her face and giving her the disease that killed her, she turned into this, like, horrible abomination that was summoning all of these ghosts and specters and, like, haunting all the surrounding woods. And in thinking about it and talking about it here, what I was made aware of is that we invalidated the purpose of her life. The entire reason that Anne Wings did what she did was that she loved life and healing people. She loved it so much that she kept doing it after she died and was having difficulty accepting the idea that, in fact, she was responsible for continuing to hurt this man even though she didn't realize that that's what she was doing. Once we banished him, everything that she gave her life for, she literally gave her life for it, was just nothing. And that despair twisted her into something awful. And I've just been thinking about that. And now that doesn't actually directly play into why I made this decision, because I really was trying to weigh, like, what do we know? And at least part of that is that if Anne Wings can go as bad as she did based on what happened to her with, you know, what happened to her after she died, how bad could somebody like Alexander go, who was surely no saint, but also probably wasn't as bad as the person that we saw? Is he responsible for that? Does he deserve to be punished for things that happened after the point that he was capable of sort of self-regulating and being a normal dude? I just couldn't get there. So yeah, I think that was actually our first ascension. And there we go. So we're going to call it for this episode of Banishers. Oh, quick note, between this episode and the next one, I might go try to get some of those exorcism pieces that we had so much difficulty with 2 episodes ago, because I made a real run at it on stream and just wasn't making any progress, and I'd really like to do it, but I'm very just confused, not by the story of it, by the mechanics. Like, I feel like we've gone to the right place, and I'm not sure what I'm missing, so we might try to rectify that between here and the next episode. Regardless, let's call it here and find somebody fun to raid. Until next time, you guys, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great night.